in a world.
What's up, player?
Man, how you doing?
As they would say in the late 70s, early 80s, solid gold.
Solid gold.
Or solid as a rock.
Solid as a rock. Man, what's on the docket today, bro?
Man, let's talk about goals.
Okay.
Goal setting.
Yeah.
I think that there's a transfer from personal goals into professional
That's a good
goals as
topic.
well. And
Yes.
I think a lot of people struggle with that.
I'm sure they do. I know I do sometimes.
I mean, it's human nature. It
Mhm.
can be setting goals can be daunting,
Yeah.
you know? So let's jump into it.
Let's go.
Goals are important, I think, because without writing them down or having them, you're just out here in space. You're like, I'm
Mhm.
working, I'm getting a check, I'm doing this, and one of the easiest goals in life is savings. It's not easy,
Right.
but it's the easiest one to make a connection with. So you can go out and get it. You can make, $80,000 a year,
Mhm.
and you've got specific bills. And if you don't set a goal to save for yourself first, that money will be in the wind.
Correct.
And so that's an easy analogy for how things you put in life, if you don't set it aside and prioritize it, it'll never happen. Right?
Yep.
So if you're saying, hey, I want to save this money, hey, I want to gain muscle, hey, I want to, even if you're looking for a new job, if your goal is to get a new job, well, great. You can't just spruce up your resume.
Right.
You gotta set time to go hunt.
That's right.
You gotta set time to say, okay, I'm gonna set 2 hours on a Friday to email people, to contact people, and to post for jobs, because it ain't easy.
Yeah. How are you going to get there?
How are you going to get there? So I think you don't get anywhere in life just by happenstance. You just don't wake up and have saved $30,000.
You don't fall into money. I mean, not usually anyway, in rare circumstances, but
I wish I
don't
could.
count on it. Yeah.
I wish I could fall into some loot,
I keep trying.
But if you don't set goals,
No.
You're just going to be spinning your wheels in the same place. And I think people who can set the easiest goals to set are personal because you're in control of them.
True.
The hardest goals are the ones at work. And a lot of times we don't even set them. Somebody sets them for us.
That's right. You're not
So
setting your
I
own goals, and the variables are much more out of your control.
Yeah. So I think first, let's talk about the struggles in setting goals. And I know from your perspective, sometimes you like to mention your brain can kind of be like a cat with a ball of yarn.
Analysis paralysis for sure.
So for my other brothers and sisters out there, who are, kittens with a ball of yarn, what does that look like for you?
So, for me, anytime I'm like, okay, I've got this big thing to do. The worst is when it's nebulous too. It's like, this needs to be done. I don't know when it needs to be done by. I haven't said it needs to be done by a certain time. Nobody's told me it needs to be done by a certain time. So somewhere in my mind, it's like, oh yeah, plenty of time. The other part is this, I haven't broken it down into what it's going to take to get there. So I haven't made it bite-sized or manageable. So I'm just looking at this huge, big thing. And sometimes I get like paralysis, like, wow, that's a lot. I have no idea how I'm going to get there. And I just kind of, you know what, let's go do this for now. Let's go work on something else, or let's go take care of this.
Right. And then it starts to get dust on it.
Correct.
Yeah. I think you said it. The first place is, yes, it's daunting. And I'm going to use an example because on one end, I see how your brain works like that, but then on the other end, it's perfectly built for it
Mm.
because you're one of these people who can get in a car and drive cross country.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, me, bro, 3 hours, I better be sliding a key into a Marriott door. Blink, blink,
No, that's a
right?
great analysis because
And,
yeah,
and,
I break it all the way down.
and so instead of saying, I'm going to drive from Florida to California, which is daunting,
Hmm.
right? You're like, I'm going to drive from Florida to, the tip of Georgia,
Yep.
right? And then the next day I'm going to do this, and the next day I'm going to do that. So I think the first place that we have to start at is we have to separate the two,
Yep.
right? One is an end goal or a macro goal. It's macro.
Yep.
That's it. I'm gonna pick up this old school Corvette from the villages.
Hmm.
I'm gonna put it on a trailer
Hmm.
and I'm gonna drive it back to Temecula.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the macro goal. Now for us that maybe have a little bit of analysis paralysis or ADHD,
Hmm.
now you got to set some micros.
Right.
The first goal is how you gonna get to Florida.
That's right.
You gonna fly there? You gonna drive? Are you gonna rent all of this stuff? So micro, and I
Yep.
think that plagues the most out of people because we have to say it all the time when we're delivering, a training or something, or I'm coaching somebody. There's only one way to eat an elephant, and what's that?
One bite at a
One
time.
bite at a time. You can't eat an elephant, and save the elephants. We're not saying let's eat elephants,
I
but
love elephants,
I love elephants.
but they're big.
Um, you can't, you can't, you can't eat that whole micro goal in once.
Nope.
And so um, I think we have to take more of a position on doing the right things today,
Hmm.
and then the outcome will be changed. I heard something crazy. I was looking at an interview of Nick Saban, and
Okay.
Nick Saban coached the Spartans for a
Yeah.
while, early on, and he made mention the other day. He said they were playing this team that they just knew they would get their butts kicked, and he went to this psychologist and he said, what do I do? Because there's no way we're going to beat this team, but so how do I prepare?
Right.
And the psych told him, don't focus on the end scoreboard. Focus on every single person doing their job,
Right.
right? Is the long snapper going to long snap the ball correctly?
Hmm.
Okay. Is the guard going to pull and block properly? Is the kicker going to, set up the right steps? And he said from that moment, he changed the way he looked at the game of football and setting goals. And it's, can I do the best part today? Can I play my position today? And look what he's turned into.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's surreal because he always goes back to it. Like, control the controllables, do your job, focus on you delivering what you need to, and then next man up.
Yep.
So to me, I think that's the best way for us, that those of us that get paralyzed in the fear is, okay, what's your goal? Is it dropping a few pounds? Well, did you eat properly today?
Right.
Eat properly today. And
Yep.
and you're gonna go to bed, with the win. Now, did you fall off and eat a tub of ice cream at the end of it? Well, you gotta start over the next day,
That's right.
right? So you're not, for people that are out there, you're not gonna lose 20 pounds in one day.
No.
It's one day at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you said it perfectly. The road trip thing to me is like that. That's just such an amazing analogy because it's this big long thing is going super far, and for whatever reason, growing up with my dad and and doing tons of road trips, it's so easy to break down as to okay, the car I can only go this fast, I can only go this far before I have to stop for gas. I'm going to need these things in these scenarios. So how far can I get in a day? Okay, I can get this far in a day. And now it's like, okay, that's going to take how long it's going to take me to get to the end result. Is that inside of my timeline? Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Boom. That's a smart goal. I can get there in the days that I have allotted. Let's do it. And I that's a great analogy. So I like that.
Yeah, well, it's a struggle for people because, if you can set those personal goals,
Yep.
then I think they can really transfer over
Oh,
into your
absolutely.
professional.
Absolutely.
You can almost connect them.
Sure. Being able to identify what are the components, right? Break that down. I want to get a promotion to be a manager, to be a
Hmm.
director, to be whatever.
Hmm.
Okay, well, what is that going to take? Find out other people who have done that. What did they do
Hmm.
to get there? And then start to break that down. Okay, I got to do 3 big projects and I got to get a good rating, or I have to, they have to be successful. And I know I have to wait 2 years because they won't even think about break down all of the required tasks.
Hmm.
What is
Hmm.
actually required to get to that goal? And
Hmm.
it's that same thing. It's that same thing as I got to get to Florida in 3 days. I got to
Hmm.
become a manager in 2 years. Break it
Hmm.
down.
Break it down. Um, and I like to assign something personal to it.
Yes.
And I'll tell a personal story. When I was just a sales rep out here, I wanted to be a manager. And
Mm-hmm.
so I went on this barnstorming uh selling of myself to all the leaders. Hey, it's Chris Sanford. You
That's right.
know, hi,
Yeah.
hire me. So I'm doing all of this stuff. But what I aligned to that is I said, okay, in the midst of that, I'm gonna train for a half marathon.
Mm.
And so I connected my actions, and it's almost like I connected the discipline of
Yes.
one to the other.
Yeah.
And so that discipline of saying, you know what? I want to run 13 miles.
Yep.
Okay. But I haven't even run a mile yet.
Right.
So now now I have to add the discipline to that. So then what I did is I connected the discipline of running
Mm-hmm.
to the discipline of educating myself, reading situational leadership, sort of creating my stump speech. And then while I'm running, I'm thinking about the stuff. Oh, I could do this. Well, maybe email that person.
Right.
Maybe send a brag book to this woman. Right. So aligning personal and professional goals, because sometimes the professional goals ain't sexy.
No.
You
No.
know, they're
Mm-mm.
not fun.
Right.
But as you connect yourself and you're like, holy shit, man, I'm running 4 miles,
That's right.
right? So now you're like, I got progress. You've got you've got the wind behind you. You got a little pep in your step. That's gonna help you kind of crack open that undaunting 6 month course that you have to develop,
Yeah.
right? That is like all unsexy, unsavory terms.
Yeah. And the mind's as much a muscle as the body, right? So if you're
Hmm.
talking about like, I want to bench 250 pounds, right?
Right.
It's like, well, I'm not going to do that today.
Hmm.
Well, first, let me get this out of the way.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anytime that you think, okay, I have this thing, I have this task, I have this objective, start today. Don't start tomorrow.
Yeah.
Don't start, okay, the beginning of the year, this will be my New Year's resolution. No, start
Hmm.
today. Like start
My,
planning, put something in place, start today, not
my buddies
tomorrow.
and we have this joke that people that aren't really about it, they're always like, yeah, first thing Monday, I'm gonna get started. No, today, player,
Today,
not
right?
first thing Monday.
Yeah. And so, right. So to tomorrow or, in a month, I want to, or, let's talk about in a year, I want to be able to bench press 250 pounds.
Yeah,
Okay. So I'm going to start today. I'm going to
yeah,
have my plan. I'm going to pick one solution, because a lot of times it's like, oh, I could do this or I could do that, or I bought all these books. No, just pick one. Just pick one
right,
method. And if,
One method.
if it doesn't work, pick a new one. But stick with one. Don't overwhelm yourself, right? But the whole idea is as you're working out, you're building that muscle and you're getting
Mm-hmm.
better every single step of the way. And your
Mm-hmm.
brain is that same way. So while you're setting these goals and you're achieving these micro goals, you're getting better. You're adding these healthy habits. They're becoming more easy. They're becoming commonplace, and you're
Mm-hmm.
stacking on top of that muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
that, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, no, you spot on. The thing about building muscle is you have to block time.
Yes.
You got to block time. You're not. I'm not. Nobody's asking you to work out for 6 hours a day.
Right.
You can work out for 30, 40 minutes a day,
Yeah.
right? So, in terms of your projects and work goals, nobody's asking you to work on them for 8 hours a day.
No. Gotta be
So,
realistic.
just like work, I don't expect you to be benching and curling and lifting for 6 hours.
Right.
I don't expect you to be working on the grant proposal for the same amount of time.
That's right.
So be smart. Say, I'm going to dedicate an hour and a half a day
Mm-hmm.
to this. I'm gonna do 90 minutes a day, block it, and do that time. And then that way you can walk away from it. And so now that's the little bites of the elephant that you
Exactly.
want
Mm-hmm.
versus because the grandiosity of this project, it can stifle anybody.
It sure can.
It can stifle it can stifle the best of us,
And it
right?
might. Yeah.
And it might. And for the most part, nowadays, people aren't necessarily giving you a project that can be easily done,
No. They're not
right?
getting easier. They're getting harder.
They're getting harder. And so that's what I think we have to recognize is it's not just go run me some copies.
Right.
No, it's like put together 25 pages worth of content or read through this and make sure there are no mistakes or you could be like sit with an engineer and develop this protocol from scratch.
Right.
And we need it in 90 days,
Yeah.
right?
A lot of times you don't just because you come with a work goal or a personal goal, that doesn't mean you have to do it on your own.
No.
Get some
Mm-mm.
resources, get somebody that maybe you have a tough time being accountable to yourself. Find
Mm-hmm.
somebody else that you can be accountable while you're figuring this out. Like you want to
Yeah.
go to the gym. It's like, oh man, I don't need to go. I'll do it tomorrow or I'll do it later. Man,
Mm-hmm.
if you get a gym buddy and it's like, hey man,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to meet at 9 a.m. You're now accountable
Mm-hmm.
to that person. You're letting them down if you're not there.
Yeah. Or you join one of these gym groups. You
Yes.
know, I got some frat brothers. They doing great. They get up at 5:15, and they it's men, women, children, you name it, but it's people in there grinding and that's your support system.
Exactly.
So personal, uh, you don't have to get a trainer forever. Get a trainer for a month.
That's right.
This is what I want to do. I'm gonna pay you for a month. Show me the basics. Okay, I'm on my own. Do I want to
Right.
keep you?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, professional. Find a mentor or
Hmm.
an ally. Right. Find somebody. I like to say an advisor. Find an advisor to say, look, you've probably done some projects before. How have you been successful? All of these things, but
Hmm.
the other thing that paralyzes you is we try and do it on our own.
Yeah.
You
I'm guilty of that myself.
man, you can't get anywhere on your own. No, nowhere. You need some help, bro. Yeah, you do. And I
Yep.
think why do you think that is? Is it ego or is it
It's not
that
ego
we're
for me. To me, it's that's a great question. To me, it's more about not wanting to rely or be I think it's about not wanting to be let down. I'm like, oh, uh, I can't rely on anybody but myself. I think that might be part of it, which is a stupid
mm-hmm,
thing, right? I'm by
It's
no
not
means am I
stupid.
condoning.
It's not stupid because I know a lot of people who have trust issues.
Sure.
I mean, trust issue because what I hear you saying, and you can tell me this, but what I hear you saying is that you don't want to ask for help and then not get the help.
Correct.
So you don't want to ask for help and then you're let down and you're like, oh, that wasn't worth it. And then I exposed myself for needing help.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Versus looking like, you know, Mr. Big Stuff coming, rolling in, shining, looking good, looking cleaner than I seen him the last time. Right?
Last time.
Like, so, yeah. So it's a little bit of ego. It's a little bit of fear.
Correct.
Why we don't ask for help. And
Yep.
so I think that's a good bullet point for this conversation is, when you have goals, ask for help. There's somebody that specializes in everything.
Right.
If you got a barking puppy, there's right? There's people who can help you.
Absolutely.
Versus you just, rolling up your newspaper talking about quiet pepper. Quiet pepper. It might not work that way. So
No.
What I'm hearing from this conversation is one, we got to take steps. It's steps to this.
That's right.
Everybody thinks, they can just throw a Hail Mary and their project personally or professionally will be met. No.
In the final hour.
No. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
No. You gotta go, yards at a time.
That's right.
You gotta ask for help. And then it's easier if you align it to something personal. And that's kind of crazy to people. But really, like every time that I've done that, it's worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm going to, and it doesn't always have to be physical.
No.
Right? You could say, I'm going to set up this side of our house to be a garden.
Yeah.
Right? And so the same. Do you have to spend 6 hours out in the garden? Sarah might say, yeah, but you might.
Maybe you hire somebody.
maybe you get a handyman
That's
to
exactly
do
right.
that, right? But even if you do a house project,
Yes,
along with a company or corporate project, and align them, watch how they work.
right.
So and it's like, okay, did I go and weed the yard today? Okay, I spent an hour in the yard. Now let me spend an hour on overhauling these TPS reports, right? You know what I'm saying? And then there's some commonality, there's some connection, as you would like to say, we tied the canoes together.
That's right.
Talk about that a little bit.
So what is it? Many hands makes little work, right? So a lot of times you think of big organizations or big scenarios or these impressive, Tony Robbins. Everybody, all you think about is Tony Robbins. But Tony Robbins is a machine made up of a million components, assistants and schedulers and PR people and lawyers and schedulers. Tony Robbins isn't doing all of that.
And people are creating content for him.
Right. It's his
like
name at the top.
It's people like me and you saying, say this.
Right. Exactly.
Put this on the board. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So maybe to be the Tony Robbins, you're going to have to break that down. Maybe you're going to have to find an organization app that works for you. You're going to have to find some people that are going to help you get there, that are going to assist you. You might have to sublet out some of that work.
Mm-hmm. And you might just have to put it in AI and see what comes out.
Hey, man, throw it in Chat GPT, see what they say.
I got a 6-month project. How would you schedule this?
Yep.
And so, yeah, I think you're hitting on to something here. Is just the fear of asking for help. Goals are met. All those goals. You think about the ultimate goal, right?
Right.
In life, I don't know if there's a lot you can say, winning a Super Bowl or this or that. I think it's like winning a gold medal.
Right.
Winning a gold medal for your country is like the top of the top for me.
Tippy top.
Now, how many people are behind the person that's standing on that podium with that gold medal.
So many.
So many
Right.
mental coaches, people stretching,
Yep.
physical therapy, kinetics, all of these different things. Then you just got your natural running coach,
Right.
nutritionist.
Think of what the Olympics award ceremonies would be if it was like the Oscars.
Man, that's so money. That's money right there. If it was like the Oscars, it would be you would need those podiums for the basketball teams.
Exactly.
Right? So you got to ask for help.
Got to ask for help.
Yeah. And you can't just do it on your own, man. That was a huge light bulb moment there.
Life is not a solo sport.
Why do you think it seems so simple, but why are we messing that up?
To me, it's we talked about it, right? It's kind of like asking somebody out on a date, right? It's like, is it better? Sales is the same thing. It's I got to go through a million no's to get one yes.
Mm-hmm.
But those no's, man, they can take a tax on your confidence,
Right?
And it's and so it's like, am I better off just having not even asking than getting all those no's? So I think some people are like, you know what, this is fine, right? I'm that pup, I'm that meme. I'm the dog working at their computer while there's fire all around me. This is fine.
This is fine. Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, no, it's not.
It's not, because it always comes back to bite people in the ass at the end.
Almost always. Well,
because
definitely always. Yeah.
Yeah. Because in the end, when you haven't met your goal, people are like, why didn't you ask me for help?
Right. Not only are you not going to move forward, you'll probably move backwards.
You'll move backwards. So why didn't you raise your hand and say you were drowning?
Yep.
Or why didn't you tell me you couldn't swim?
Right. Oh, gosh.
You know what I mean? Like, just tell me you don't know that. So
that happened in boot camp. I was in boot camp, and we'd had a couple people was
it brothers?
One was.
Okay.
We had a couple of good old white boys that just had that same issue. So part of graduating boot camp, you have to jump. We're in the Navy, man. You're going to be around some water. You had to jump off a diving board into the deep end and swim to the shallow side of the pool. And some of these fools, they were so confident. They'd never been in a pool in their life, no idea how to swim. But they're like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to get the help I need. I'm just going to go and they're going to go and jump off this diving board and
mess
hope
around
and just
almost die
and hope. Hope will get me to the shallow end of the pool. No, it will not.
Hope does not meet your goals.
My mom has had a saying for the longest time: hope in one hand and shit in the other, and see what fills up faster.
Wow. That's deep.
Yeah.
Hope will not get you there.
It will not.
Hope will actually, set you backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not saying you can't have faith, but there's no faith. If there's no action mixed with faith, it ain't happening.
It's like concrete. Concrete, you need to have all the right ingredients to have that thing set in stone. You got to have the sand and the water and the aggregate, or else you just got a bunch of dust.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm a proponent of thinking positively. Right. But you got to put the action with it.
That's right.
I can't think positively about an outcome if we're not practicing.
Very true.
If we're not practicing, if we're not sparring.
Talking about practice?
You're not going to go in there against Clubber Lang if you ain't practicing, bro.
No.
It'll knock you into tomorrow.
Hope is not the main ingredient.
No, it's action.
That's right.
It's action, it's accountability. And look, what I would say is this. In terms of goals and goal setting, eventually the eyes will be on you. Don't wait for all the eyes to be on you in the end when you haven't done what you were asked to do and you signed up for.
That is a very bad place to be.
Put the eyes on you at the beginning.
Yes.
And say, alarm, I have a goal. and I need help.
That's right.
I need support. And what that does is, we talk about that. That's what humility is.
Right.
That's being humble. Being humble is like, I'll take any advice that I can get to make this work.
Right.
Right. I'll take any advice. I'll take any help. Just think about people that you've helped before that were like easy about it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, oh no. Oh, great. Oh, you can do that. Oh, we'll just start peeling those eggs.
That's right.
Do it your way. Right. And when you have those people, you're like, it's so much easier to work with. But imagine going to work with somebody and they're like, no, don't use that knife. No, use this.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So those people, it becomes infectious. People want to work with you.
Right.
Right. And it's like, oh, this person is so, I rolled up my sleeves. I went over there to help. They didn't have all of these parameters or bumpers up.
Right.
And when you need help, you have to create that environment. You can't ask for help to meet your goals and be Captain Tight Ass about it.
You have to be open to being coached, right? Back when I was a swimmer, you would be like, and you might have all the best interests in mind. It's like, I want to do this. But if you can't hear what that person's saying and implement that into action, you're not going to get there. And that's like, some people can be like, is it all the coach's fault? Is it all the athlete's fault? It's a mixture. It's like, hey, you're not explaining this to me in a language I can understand. Can we shift gears here, or can we do something different? You're talking about, I got an otter paw in my hand. I don't know what that means when I put it in the water. Help me understand. But you also have to be, willing to listen too, and understand. Maybe this is the only coach I'm going to get. So I got to make the best of what I got, because they're willing to put in the time. So I got to put in the time too.
Yeah. Hitting goals is not an individual sport.
It's not.
It's really a team sport.
That's
and
right.
I think that's what I'm coming to understand. The realization of it is everybody wants to, go into the lab for 6 months and come out looking like Dolph Lundgren. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And Dolph Lundgren had a team of people.
They had a team.
He had machines. He had everything. But we. And that's the whole deal. We think it's like Rocky. Like, oh, I'm going to go to a shed and we'll do it.
I'm going to bench press a wooden stump.
I'm gonna run up a mountain with snow boots.
No, you ain't.
You need a team.
Yes.
You need a team. So when when those goals come, open up yourself, be humble, and ask for help. And you'll never recognize the gifts that you'll get when people truly can see that you're willing to take any and everything.
That's right.
Because even when there are people who come and ask me for stuff, they don't know what they're asking for. And then when I'm not giving it to them,
they're
like, I don't know what I want, but that ain't it.
Right.
Well, you got it. Well, but even if you don't know and you say, well, you know what? That's a great idea. I'm still forming, storming, and norming, pulling this stuff together, then fine. Now I'm more willing to pick up the phone for you when you call.
Right.
But when you are an asshat and you're calling, you don't know what you want, and then you're like, but no, that's not it. No, I don't think that's it. Look, I'm not there to, I'm here to brainstorm and help.
Right. Especially if it's somebody that's willing to help you. When we talked about that a million times, if you're going to be negative, always have a positive at the same time. This might not work, but what about this? And that goes for everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Goals are placed there because it's a daunting task. If
exactly.
it wasn't, it could just be like it could just be like, oh, print that out. That's not a big deal, me printing something.
We'd all be millionaires and we'd all look like Arnold.
Yeah, if it was that easy.
If it was that easy.
So you need help. You need people around you. And then you really, let's get back to it, because we make it sound easy.
Right.
But how do you really take on and accept and kind of calm yourself down from the whole, I'm gonna try and eat this elephant in one bite to now breaking it up in pieces. How do we do that?
Piece of paper and a pen or your iPhone or, there are
Mm-hmm.
a million tools in today's
Mm-hmm.
society, but it's really, again, today you're going to sit down there and you're going to write out your goal and you're going to
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, what is it I'm trying to achieve?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to break it down into what
Mm-hmm.
those components are.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to say, okay, how long do I think that will take me to get to each of these little things?
Mm-hmm.
And then add those up and say like, okay, cool. This is,
Yeah.
this I can do that in a year. This is smart. This is something that I can accomplish in a period of time, and I know how to get there.
Like we say, back out of it.
Back out of it.
Right. So when is this due? End of the year. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bang. So now we got 4 months.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got 4 months to do this. What are the tasks? And like we said, no Lewis and Clarking. Break down the tasks and don't go to task 2 until you're done with task 1.
Do not.
Don't do it. Break them down. And so now you're done. Now you move on to the next one. Now you move on to, okay, now we're going to start wordsmithing this, and I'm going to start socializing it so people can see it, that
Right.
I'm not too far down the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you break it down, any goal, if you break it down like that, it won't seem like this gigantic mountain. And then you can say, I got 15 days to get this done. Now, out of those 15 days, back out of that. How many
Exactly.
hours do you need to dedicate per
Mm-hmm.
day? Is there weekend time? Sometimes you got to work on the weekend. I know it's the world of football now. Bro, it's so much football on.
So much football.
And I love it. But sometimes I'm like, damn,
Mm-hmm.
another game?
Right.
Right? Like, this is coming up. And all of these late games. I know I'm off in the cornfields, but
You might only have time to watch the highlights.
you might have to watch college football final and watch the highlights, get the cliff notes, especially if you one of these, worry warts.
Right.
If you're a worrier, here's the best way to overcome the worries.
Yep.
Action.
Mm-hmm.
Action. Because worrying about it and no action, as you get into it, as you start making action, you'll feel better. And then the other thing is go get some sun.
Oh, vitamin D.
Get some sun. It works. If you are jammed up and, like a lot of us now in the home office or in the cube, go swipe that badge and walk outside and let the sun shine on you.
That's right.
For 5 minutes, give yourself a break
Exactly.
and then come back.
Be amazed how better you feel.
Tell me about it, brother. That was a good convo.
That was a good convo, man. Is it time?
I think it is.
This or that. This or that. All right, man. Batman or Superman?
What are you're just saying? Pick.
Whatever. Pick one.
Batman.
Batman. Yeah.
Batman, yeah.
Was that your comic book when you were a kid?
I can't really say I had a comic book. Well, let me just say this. You know what? I did what was that with the Legion of Doom? That was more Superman, right? Remember the Legion of Doom
Yeah.
coming here? Like
The
that was
Justice
amazing.
League and the Legion
The
of Doom.
Justice League,
Yeah.
Legion of Doom was crazy. You had Bizarro Superman.
Bizarro,
Remember
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Bizarro Superman.
Yeah.
That was good stuff. But Batman, just kind of because he's a regular dude.
Yeah.
He's a regular dude,
No superpowers.
no superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets jacked up too.
He set goals. He set smart goals.
He set goals, but and he goes out and deals with some. See, what's funny to me when you're that rich, and then he goes out and deals with some ratchet people.
Right.
And so it's like he hasn't let the fact that he's got all the toys,
Right.
and all the spoils of life, tell him that he can't go in some pissy gutter and fight a guy.
Exactly. This is
you know,
that's a
you
badass
know,
dude right there.
you know what I'm saying?
No gifts.
And over
Wow.
the years,
Yeah.
he's gotten a little dark too.
Oh, the Dark Knight for sure.
He's dark.
For sure.
What do you think the Dark Knight drinks after, a night of wrestling with Bane?
Straight vodka, man. Probably.
I would have thought he would go brown.
Maybe
Yeah,
some with his pocketbook, probably some
Yeah.
like Glenfiddich.
yeah, but
Macallan.
he would probably just put a bottle of Dewar's to the neck. So,
That's
all right,
really good.
all right, what say you?
I'm a I'm a Batman guy too, because I love the gadgets, I love the tech, I love the gear. But man, you really brought it home for me. As it was, this was a guy that, could have rolled over in life and taken his paycheck and been like, screw life. You didn't give me shit. But yeah, so it's a lot deeper than that. So man, you made some really great points, but definitely Batman.
Yeah, because you can be like, man, I ain't got time for this. We going to Spain.
That's right.
I'm flying to Spain on this jet. Oh, y'all terrorizing the city. I'm out of here.
Yep.
Yeah, he's not your average selfish billionaire.
He did not check out. He checked in.
Uh-huh. Wow, look at you with the metaphors. He did not check out. He checked in.
That's a lot of them today, huh?
Oh, look at you, Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins.
All right, bro. As always, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, my guy.
Peace.
Peace.